What up?
It's The Philosopher with my co-host, Jack V. Lloyd.
That's true.
It's me. What's up, everybody? It's a Friday night. And if you saw my story on Instagram, I added the song Friday Night by Montel Jordan. Cause it's Friday night. Am I gonna be taken down? Hey everybody, by the IP police. Who believes in IP? Not I.
Not you. If you're just coming in, make
Not
sure to
Steven
go by
Kinsella.
the YouTube.com/.
Yeah,
philosopher,
you want to go to the YouTube
and drop us a comment so we can see who's all here. Let us know if you're on by, and we'll post you on up here and give you a shout out. But we got a interesting.
Oh, hey,
topic.
Mercenary BD, what up?
What up?
You know, we're gonna talk about critical thinking tonight. Just some terms, basic introductory terms, as chosen by my supporters on Patreon and Subscribestar. Thank you. So yeah, do you want to start there?
No, actually, I want to start with our Lou Perez event. We want to remind everybody that on September,
that's just a couple months,
the 9th, Saturday, we actually have an event with Lou Perez, a comedy show. And that's gonna be pretty fun.
Oh yeah, that's I saw him we saw him at PorkFest, and that was really fun. I liked his friend / fellow comedian Brian McWilliams, I think. And he was funny. He was like way too crass. And I was like right next to Lynn Ulbricht, like free Ross Ulbricht, yeah. Lynn's like Ross's mom.
Right.
And she's like, Brian, get him out. I want Lou. And it was hilarious.
And she wasn't having it.
Which is good. It's almost really like rough. You needed a really crappy like comedian. So that way you look extra, extra hilarious. And like everyone's like, yes. So that was fun. So I'm really excited to see Lou again. I got to meet his wife in person. That's cool. True. And his 2 kids, his little babies.
Yeah. And actually we haven't since just that time quick, we haven't talked about PorkFest on our own show. Obviously, talked about it on the LPMC.
Yeah, we were on the Mises Caucus podcast. They have a podcast called The Decentralized Revolution, right? Is that what it's called?
Yeah. I guess, Decentralized Revolution podcast. That's the way.
Is that what it's called?
I mean, it's the way to frame it.
Okay, don't quote me on that. Just go to the LP Mises Caucus YouTube and you'll see it. And then you'll see us there like second or third in their recent streams. And that's us with Aaron, Brandy, and Michael. So we got to talk to Michael. Michael apparently hadn't been on the show for quite some time. And we got to check in with him and heard he got a new baby.
Yeah.
So many babies.
So many people having babies right now.
I held Angela McArdle's baby at a PorkFest as well.
That's true.
For the first time. He's so cute.
Yeah.
Little Arthur.
Arthur's
taking the sword out of the stone one day. Anyway. So, that's going to be really fun to see Lou. And, I don't know what's going to happen at the comedy show, but it's going to be great. It's going to be great. We'll see. And then it's called Don't Shoot Lou because there's 3 different ticketed events. So if you just want to go to the comedy show, you can, of course, obviously. No one's coercing you.
Right. There's technically 3 different events for it. There's a comedy show portion, there's the gun range portion, and there's a VIP portion. So it's structured where you can choose to go to 1, 2, or all 3, up to you. But we break it apart that way just to make it more convenient for people to pick if budget doesn't allow to do what they care about most, kind of thing. But
because some people might just want to watch the comedy show because they really like comedy. Some people want to go shooting.
Right. They're like, I've always wanted to shoot. I know one person's like, I want and need to go shoot with Lou.
That's true.
So I was like, okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Right. So that's with both of us. But, yeah. For the comedy show, it's just Lou. Lou's a comedian. As much as I try to make people laugh, I don't do stand-up comedy right now. So
you will though. You will.
I don't know about that. We'll see.
Yeah.
That airplane food, huh? Okay, just kidding. Anyway, so it's a terrible joke. But yeah, or if you just want to like have conversations with people, then you'll really like the VIP hangout because it's really casual. There's really comfy like lounge chairs that spin around in this room. And by the way, this is all at this gun range that's like a gun mall. So like when you walk in, there's like racks of guns on the wall, like AKs, ARs, Uzis, 1911s. Anyway, but so check that out. That's just separate. That's part of their whole range thing. But yeah, we got those 3 different sessions, so it'll be awesome if any of you are in Florida or near Florida or can fly to Florida, check it out. It's also near Tampa Bay and Clearwater Beach, which is a beach I highly recommend. Just check it out. So if you want to make a little vacation out of it, it's really hot here. It's like almost 100 degrees now. So, actually today I laid out, I got a tan line. What can I say? But I'm so excited.
It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, come on
We've always
out.
had a good time. We've had a few other events like this, so that was
this will be our third.
Kind of our signature event is doing the gun range thing, because we can do it a little bit more uniquely from what other people do. A lot of people do like hangouts at hotels or like going out camping, like PorcFest was. But to have a range event thing where it's a little bit more upscale and like comfortable, that's kind of special. So that's our niche, you could say. And we did that with Spike Cohen and before that Liberty Doll. So those went very well. We had a great time. Lots of people like had lifetime memories, because again, it's more intimate than other events in terms of just like it's smaller group and smaller group hangouts for everything. Literally the comedy show and the gun range event and the VIP thing are uniquely kind of small. It's a cool chance to, like,
it's fun if you can bring
really
your friends as well, like, because it'll be really like intimate, like you said, and private, and you'll really have the ability to hang out with all 3 of us. So I think it'll be great. I'm just looking forward to see who comes out, and maybe some friends, some familiar faces, or there have been a couple people who've gone to the first 2. So we'll see if those people show up again. But okay, looks like that libertarian lady over here, she's in North Florida. She's part of the libertarian part of Duval County. Oh, nice.
And Duval County, Jacksonville, was actually where LPF's holding their next convention. So.
Oh, do you know Ron Tracy?
I'd imagine.
Wow, you must. You must. So Ron's really cool. Anywho. So I'm excited. Hope to see you guys there, and actually try out some different pieces at the range. It's been a while. So.
Yeah, if you bring your own piece, they have rentals there as well. So we're going to be shooting those specifically on,
and they sell ammo,
the handgun lanes. So that's a 15-yard lane. So unfortunately, if you're shooting a rifle that doesn't have handgun ammunition, we won't be on that lane for the event. But you can shoot, carbines, or like, if you have an AR chambered in 9mm or whatever, you have 22 LR ARs, whatever, you can shoot all that good stuff. So you can still shoot rifles and carbines as long as they're just chambered in pistol ammunition. And we just do that because it's like the range that is kind of more exclusive, and it's a little bit easier for us to like book that venue, as opposed to like the main range that's kind of hard to do because that's where everybody wants to be. So we're able
it's a lot quieter.
We're able to secure that.
It's the one that they regularly rent out anyway,
right?
Because they can keep it cleaner and more private. So
it's separate from like the bigger main halls. So it's very
we won't be with anyone else, but anyone who bought tickets and is part of this one, that one event for the range session, and not the other ones. So it'll be really cool. Okay, you do know Ronald, of course. Well, tell him I said hi.
Yeah.
But so that will be great. Let's see how it goes. I wonder if Lou will have new material I haven't heard. I don't know.
Yeah, he's supposed to. So that's true too, because for the event there won't be any recording. So specifically as part of it, he has original and new material and stuff that he doesn't want out because it's going to be a part of a different
I learned
thing.
That's like every comedian, like every professional comedian that I've met. That's like a rule that they just have, which makes sense. They just don't want it getting out there. So all right. Hope to see you guys there, and we'll have some fun there in September. All right. So let us get right into it. We're going to be talking about what is the difference between inductive and deductive reasoning when it comes to determining what is true versus false. So I like this little quick summary here. because it kind of talks about how it can be misunderstood. It also mentions the scientific method. So, okay. This was in 2008, but it still stands. Induction and deduction are pervasive elements in critical thinking. They're also somewhat misunderstood terms. Arguments based on experience or observation are best expressed inductively. I just kind of mixed those words there. While arguments based on laws or rules or principles are best expressed deductively. Most arguments are mainly inductive. In fact, inductive reasoning usually comes much more naturally to us than deductive reasoning. So just to say that it is more common for most people just base things off of their experience and like direct observations, as opposed to starting from first principles and then like going from there and then like trying to make conclusions from there. So inductive reasoning moves from specific details and observations, typically of nature. Thanks. I couldn't read that. To the more general underlying principles or process that explains them, e.g., Newton's law of gravity. It is open-ended and exploratory, especially at the beginning. The premises of an inductive argument are believed to support the conclusion, but do not ensure it. Thus, the conclusion of an induction is regarded as a hypothesis. In the inductive method, also called the scientific method, observation of nature is the authority. So the idea that, okay, you rely on observations and sense data here. At the same time, you would call it as a hypothesis. So you don't immediately just always say like, this is absolute truth, So, all right. In contrast, deductive reasoning typically moves from general truths to specific conclusions. It opens with an expansive explanation, statements known or believed to be true, premises, and continues with predictions for specific observations supporting it. Deductive reasoning is narrow in nature and is concerned with testing or confirming a hypothesis. It is dependent on its premises. For example, a false premise can lead to a false result, and inconclusive premises will also yield an inconclusive conclusion. Deductive reasoning leads to a confirmation or not of our original theories. It guarantees the correctness of a conclusion. Logic is the authority in the deductive method. So if you can strengthen your argument or hypothesis by adding another piece of information, you are using inductive reasoning. If you cannot improve your argument by adding more evidence, you are employing deductive reasoning. So anyway, it's just summarizing just quickly that on the one hand, like deductive reasoning, I think the point there is it can lead to false conclusions because like although you can apply logic correctly, if your premises are false, you can end up with false conclusions. So it's just more like a way to help you guide and organize your thinking and just try to understand if you may potentially be erring in thinking because human mind is prone to error. So yeah, let's talk about an example of deductive reasoning here, which would be like syllogisms. It's a common thing that's brought up.
Can you come up with a syllogism?
Yeah,
that's deductive reasoning.
Jack is a man. All men are rude. No, I'm just kidding. Therefore, Jack is rude. So like you could have like a false premise that like all men are rude, right? Even though Jack is a man is true. But like you combine and you're like, oh, well, logically, because he's a man, he would have to be rude. But then you don't realize the error in your collectivist thinking.
Well, that's a good example there of right. If you can have a valid conclusion in terms of it's logically flowing from start to finish by saying, all men are rude, Jack is a man, therefore Jack is rude. But if your premise is flawed, then it doesn't matter if that, has a valid construct, it would be wrong because the underlying premise is wrong. And that's why it's important to like think about the difference between inductive and deductive. Right. When you start with a truth that you assume truth, is that really true? When you try to draw, a difference from there.
Yeah, I almost see it's like they pair correctly because like with deductive reasoning, it's applying logic to premises, right? To principles that you just assume to be true, right? And then inductive reasoning is like the process by which you may determine what those principles and premises ought to be, right? It's like through observation of reality, through your five senses. That's how you would start to be like, okay, well, what is the world? Like, is this a premise? What is a man? Right? Like, what does that look like? Right. Or like the hypothesis, all men are rude. Like, well, first of all, like, what is rude? And it's like, are there any examples of men who are rude? Anyway.
Well, that'd be a counterfactual, right? When you show, if you show a premise, or you assume a premise, and you say, oh, okay, all men are rude. But if you have a counterfactual, well, this guy's not rude. Well, then that would, dismiss the premise and show that to be a false premise of, all categorically. Men. Right.
Right. Yeah.
Right. We should talk about some generalizations. Let's talk about inductive generalizations.
I'd love to.
Okay.
All right. Well, apparently Jack here is very familiar. This is going deep, deep, deep.
Well, I mean, I did happen to teach the University of Cambridge ACE program for critical thinking skills and global perspective, so I do have some experience, you could say.
That's great. Would you like to tell us about this since you taught it? No? Okay.
No.
Well, so all right, well, I'm just gonna read it and we'll learn together. So inductive generalization. So it is a generalization proceeds a generalization proceeds from a premise about a sample to a conclusion about the population. The observation obtained from the sample is projected onto the broader population. Okay, basically that is a very technical way of just saying like, yeah, you just took like a few people and then you chose to apply it to everybody. Like a few people's actions and apply it to everybody or whatever population, I guess. So yeah, like for example, in addition to what I just said about people, you could also talk about balls. That's a population. So you could say there are 20 balls, either black or white, in an urn. To estimate their respective numbers, you draw a sample of 4 balls and find that 3 are black and 1 is white. An inductive generalization would be that there are 15 black and 5 white balls in the urn. Right, because it's just taking a sample and then like trying to be like, I know the truth, even though like you actually don't because you didn't see everything. And there is no like ought in that case if you don't actually know the nature of what's in that urn. That it would be exactly the ratio of the sample that you just so happen to pull out randomly, right?
Right. It's like it's when people make an observation about something and they see a little bit of a sample and then they go, oh, well, that must apply to everything else, right? In this case, it was balls, in a urn, aka like a vase or vase, depending where you're from.
Vase.
And you're like, oh, okay, well, if there's 20 in there and, there's some 4 that are, that you're taking out and 3 are black, 1's white. Oh, I wonder if that proportion keeps going, right? So some people try to make those generalizations from a sample, and obviously, in statistics, it gets more advanced with doing significant samples and randomization, but that's kind of a way that people will think about that. So let's take a look then at statistical generalization, like a little bit more specifically.
Okay, great. So statistical generalization is a type of inductive argument in which a conclusion about a population is inferred using a statistically representative sample. For example, of a sizable random sample of voters surveyed, 66% support measure Z, therefore approximately 66% of voters support measure Z. The measure is highly reliable within a well-defined margin of error, provided the sample is large and random. It is readily quantifiable. Compare the preceding argument with the following. 6 of the 10 people in my book club are libertarians. Therefore, about 60%... Wait, this is on Wikipedia?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. The Overton window
clearly there must
continues to shift.
The libertarians got control
or they've infiltrated this wiki page.
Yeah.
What is this? The inductive reasoning wiki? That's so random. Cool. All right, so compare the preceding argument with the following. 6 of the 10 people in my book club are libertarians. Therefore, about 60% of people are libertarians. The argument is weak sauce because the sample is non-random and the sample size is very small. Statistical generalizations are also called statistical projections and sample projections.
Right.
Wait, I didn't know the technical terms.
Right.
But there you go. That's something to notice.
That's why it's important to think about, when you have a certain representative thing, someone says, oh, statistically, right? People throw that word around a lot, but they're not actually like talking to the truth of how accurate that sampling was, how exhaustive it was, what the potential error is. And so, sometimes people do a little bit of math in statistics, but it's not really representative. And so there's always that issue. And people who try to extrapolate from small anecdotal experience, say, like they said with the book club, like, oh, 60% of people must be this.
Right.
They're going to be in big trouble.
Or it's like, I know 5 Chinese people and all of them I know are also rude. I don't know why everyone's rude, but it's the quickest example.
I know 5 Chinese people who like to eat noodles, therefore.
all Chinese people.
See, but that's true.
Well, many. But I haven't surveyed them. Have you gone around? Plus, there's so many. Okay, there's billions. All right. The time it would take to get a statistically whatever sample size, some formula, some weird. Calculate the statistical sample size that we should get. But in any case, the point is, what is truth? What is falsehood? And be careful when people are like, well, statistically, blah. Statistically, you'll hear this. Black people are more likely to commit crime than, white people or whatever, right? And then it's like, oh, but did you include cops or like agents of the state who commit acts of violence, physical violence, people in the military that go to war committing acts of violence for the state, right? They don't talk about that.
Well, so just to be more clear,
they don't include that in those
right? Just to be more refined about what you're saying, that would be specifically, that would be specifically a framing issue, right? So, to get a little bit away from the more controversial labeling and get to the root here, the question is how is the category labeled, right? So, for example, if something is labeled a crime, that means it's breaking not only is it breaking the law of whatever the government has down, but it also means that the intake process focused on those people, because obviously lots of people do commit harms and things that would be crimes, but it doesn't mean that they were prosecuted and successfully convicted. So there's that framing bias issue, and then there's also the issue of, well, what do you care about? Do you care about crime or do you care about violence, right? Because lots of people are criminals because they got arrested for having, cannabis, victimlessly,
and you're a convicted criminal then.
Right.
But it was for a nonviolent action. Like, you didn't aggress against anyone, you didn't take anyone's property, it was your own property, and you chose to do with it what you wanted,
Right. Or like Maj Touré, he was recently arrested for what? Carrying
that's
a firearm.
Why we didn't get to see him at Pork Fest. I was like, oh, I'm excited to see him again, but no, he literally got arrested.
And I think that's just it's a great example, right? Okay, so now Maj Touré is a part of the black crimes or criminal arrest statistics, right? He's now an arrested black man for carrying a gun.
His bail was so high,
right? And
it's ridiculous.
Basically, right, when you look at that, you're like, oh, okay, you can really understand how that system of framing bias works in reality, because Maj Touré, he was on a live stream with Tom Woods for School of Life. He wasn't doing anything violent to anybody. He was just carrying normally. And because some officer claimed that they could see a print, through his whatever he was wearing of a gun, they arrested him, right? So that's a good.
By the way, he made bail. I'm just saying, like, the bail was high. He's out.
Yes. So yes, because when you pay for bail, you go through a bail bond agent. You pay 10%.
But they're extorting you. They're saying, hey, we kidnapped you and we're keeping you locked up unless and until you can pay us this money. So
right, or get a bond agent to do it for you on your behalf. So basically, that's a really great example, I think, into thinking about the framing bias issues. When you're differentiating between, okay, what do you actually focus on? What does this information represent versus what is the actual concern that you're focused on? Are you focused on crime and whatever the government is and does? Or is it, okay, I'm worried about whether someone is like breaking into my home at night or whether someone is, trying to murder me, kind of thing, right? There's a big difference between that, as between what the government says is criminal and, what a libertarian voluntarist thinks of as an actual harm. So,
yeah. And then on a different note or additional note there, it's a good reminder to why you would want to check what definitions people are using, because people may be using like your idea of what a crime is may be totally different from what is written in, an MSNBC article. They think carrying a gun, for example, is a crime, right? But you may not, and I wouldn't, So that's definitely something always to check, like whether you're engaged in a debate with anybody or reading something that they've written, to check what definitions they're using, depending on, what exactly they're asserting. Especially if they're making a claim about something, you should understand like what they mean by it. So,
right. Essential Libertarians.
Oh,
Kareem
hey,
said,
thank you.
Little super chat. He said, question, Jack, if I know a lot of ANCAPs read Rothbard just saying,
Like
I don't know if that's a question as much as a declarative statement, but unless you have something else you want to ask.
Oh, is that like how a lot of ANCAPs have read Proud Who?
Yes, I'm an ANCAP who's read Marx as well. I don't know. It seems more
Right.
declarative than a question. Paul's like, was Maj arrested? Yes, Maj Toure was arrested for concealed carrying in Philly. And
while he was live streaming a Tom Woods School of Life, like a class, right? Like he was one of
he was doing a presentation for School Life, right? So he was arrested on a live stream. So
because
again,
the cop was like, "Oh, I saw him. He's printing."
Right. So printing just means the shape of the gun, for those who don't know, just
it's so ridiculous.
Seems to be on
That's how they get you.
Your shirt or impressed on it. So
they just don't want you to carry. They just want you to keep it in a box so that when it's time for you to just shoot yourself in the head, that's all they want. They just want you to keep it in a box. They don't really want you to defend yourself. It's ridiculous.
That's true. Gun grabbers want that. So
yeah.
We're going to take a look next at
these are fun.
Logical fallacies.
Yes. So, I have a poster of this in my room, my office.
So what are logical fallacies?
Well, Jack, let me read it for you here. So I like making you laugh. Okay. A logical fallacy is a flaw in reasoning. So logical fallacies, like I said, human mind is prone to error. Logical fallacies are like tricks or illusions of thought, and they're often very sneakily used by politicians and the media to fool people. But don't be fooled. This website has been designed to help you identify and call out dodgy logic wherever it may raise its ugly, incoherent head. I've known about this site for over 10 years. I still love it. Like, they're still around. I think it's a not-for-profit, in fact. And they have like some things you can buy as well. So like critical thinking cards if you want to practice and learn. Yeah, thanks for not making sure one eye is cut off.
No, you stay.
Like I'm part of the Illuminati or something. Jeez. No. Okay.
No, you have to stay still so I can move this to where you are. There you go. See, when you move with it, then I can't get you focused.
All right, you know how I said
still like, learning.
Jack
okay,
is
though.
Rude. Anyway, so I guess that was correct. No, I'm just kidding. All right. So yeah, so basically don't be fooled. And these are just tools. Obviously, it can't cover all the different possible ways that you can have fallacious thinking. But here are some of the common ones that you may see, especially if you choose to read the comments on a very particular political or opinionated post, So let's just take a look at some of those. Which one do you want to look at? I like ad hominem. That's one of the most common.
Have covered, so you covered some of the foundations to thinking skills, which is just, okay, what is the nature of argument, like deductive, inductive? And so this is like thinking errors, like potential ways that someone may be making a wrong causation in their connection.
Right. They think it's logical, but it's actually not.
Well, they think that they're actually addressing the issue and talking about causal relationships when they're not. Mm-hmm. So this right here would, just go through a couple of them, but it will also offer some further food for thought. But this will give a sense of kind of what some of these are.
Okay. So straw man basically is when you misrepresent someone's argument to make it easier to attack. So it's like if someone makes an argument and you just like can't actually debate it, you may change it. Maybe you won't even think about changing it and you just do it naturally, but you might exaggerate, misrepresent, or just completely fabricate what they just said in order to then present your own position that may sound more reasonable, like just sounds more reasonable because you re-articulated someone's argument as being different from what they're saying. So yeah, that's really common. I've seen that a lot. And what I like about this site is they have some examples too. Of course, we can come up with our own, and you may have seen many. You may even seen some today. But okay, this example is after Will said that we should put more money into health and education, Warren responded by saying that he was surprised that Will hates our country so much that he wants to leave it defenseless by cutting military spending.
This is written.
So I've like gotten that literal, like, I feel like Will what commented, I don't know, on my posts like every day or something for the past 10 years or something. But like, because I've gotten that so much, like when you're just like, hey, I think that children shouldn't be forced to go to school. Like children shouldn't be forced to learn. Learning should be something that's self-directed. It's like, oh, you must like just hate our country and want everyone to become stupid.
You want the kids to become stupid.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm making an ethical argument here. So hopefully that was another example. So yeah, that's a common one. Straw man. What about straw women? I'm so offended.
So straw man.
Yeah, what about straw man? Huh? Where's the inclusive? I'm just kidding. All right, so this is the fallacy, whereas you presume that because a claim has been poorly argued or a fallacy has been made, that the claim itself must be wrong. So that's just a logical error. Like that's like, just because someone may not be able to argue strongly for a position doesn't mean the actual position is wrong. Like maybe someone doesn't know how to argue that the earth is round. Doesn't necessarily mean, you know what I mean? Like it doesn't mean the earth is flat. And vice versa.
Or if they use it more so if they use a fallacy in the process, right? Yeah. So the fallacy specifically is about that you've used a fallacy, but that you've used a fallacy didn't mean that the answer was necessarily wrong. But you have to then, of course, buttress that conclusion, of course. But it's possible to, basically have the right answer.
Right. Someone can't be wrong because they made a fallacy.
Well, like for example, like if I were to say,
it has to be wrong because it's wrong for a specific reason.
Right. If you had an apple and I was like, here, eat this apple, and you like ate it and you're like, oh, I feel good. And I said, oh, well, that's the magical apple goddess. She's bestowing on you the feelings of goodness, right? That might be wrong in terms of causation, but you do feel better, but it's not because of the magical apple goddess.
Right. And it's if I was like, that's so mystical, see, right, like it didn't actually make me feel good. I don't know. It is, yeah, you get it.
Right. So you can have the right outcome. You're like, oh, okay, it does make you feel better by, getting nourishment, but it's really your gastrointestinal tract signaling to you, oh, the body's
basically the
down.
Debate's not over. You just have to tell the person, hey, that argument you just presented, that's a fallacy.
Yeah.
But do you have like another argument for your conclusion here? All right, let's look at another example. You don't want to look at, did we do ad hominem already?
I double clicked.
Oh, you're good. Do you want to do ad hom? I think ad homs are, why is it just,
I don't know, man.
It's the same old
I know this. They got
JavaScript error.
I'm sorry.
You could go back to the original page where there's a grid.
What if
that'd be nice.
Look,
ad hominem. Wait. But then when you click right, it's going to change it. Oh, it's not.
You made an assertion based on induction. You just made an induction.
I gave a live example.
Proved wrong through experience.
Hey,
empirical reality.
Human mind is prone to error. That's why you just go, oh, whoops. You're right. Okay. Everyone put your arms down. Okay. So ad homs, those are common where you get this a lot from ancoms. And ad homs are when you attack your opponent's character or personal traits in an attempt to undermine their argument. So ad hominem attacks can take the form of overtly attacking somebody or more subtly casting doubt on their character or personal attributes as a way to discredit their argument. The result of an ad hom attack can be to undermine someone's case without actually having to engage with it. For example, after Sally presents an eloquent and compelling case for a more equitable taxation system. You mean none? You mean abolishing it? Sorry. Sam asked the audience whether we should believe anything from a woman who isn't married, was once arrested, and smells a bit weird. So basically, you can see that Sam could not give an argument for why there ought to be higher taxation or whatever he's arguing for. You know,
just not.
He just wants to throw shade on Sally over here and say, look, Sally smells weird. Ignore this woman. Like, he's literally just going, she's a witch. Burn her, right? It's the modern form
literally?
of it. No, not literally. It's just like
figuratively.
It's like, yeah, figuratively.
That's good.
Cool. So that's a common one. Look out for those. And you know, one of my favorite ways to respond when someone is fallacious, like they just say something, it's like all it was a fallacy. I just go, not an argument, period. That's it. And I got that from Stefan Molyneux, and I don't care. I like doing that because it's like short and simple. And then sometimes, like, I would say 4 out of 5 times, okay, almost all times, the person's like, oh, okay. And then they try to form a better argument and they try to present one. And I'm like, cool, it worked. So it's kind of funny. All right, great. Let's watch another. I mean, read another watch. You're going to watch me, I guess. Let's read another one. Personal incredulity. So this one is because you found something difficult to understand or are unaware of how it works, you made out like it's probably not true. So complex subjects like biological evolution through natural selection require some amount of understanding before one is able to make an informed judgment about the subject at hand. This fallacy is usually used in place of that understanding. For example, Kirk drew a picture of a fish and a human, and with effusive disdain asked Richard if he really thought we were stupid enough. There's that word again, stupid enough to believe that a fish somehow turned into a human through just like random things happening over time. So again, it's not that Kirk is definitely wrong. That would be a fallacy. Just because he committed fallacy doesn't mean he's definitely wrong, but it's just more that what he said is not an argument. Like, he's just basically shaming Richard indirectly in that regard. But more specifically, it's a fallacy there.
Well, personal incredulity really means that you don't believe something because it's like, I don't see how that could be possible, right? It's a projection of your disbelief. And I think this is often very common in projection for politics. You know, bring it back to something that we cover a lot. A lot of times people will talk about politicians and political figures at like high levels, like as if they know what's going on for them or in their heads, kind of thing. Like, no, there's no way that Trump would do that. You know, he's definitely 4D chess. You know what I mean? Like, no, you know what I mean? Like, they appeal to their personal incredulity, like as if these politicians are in any way, shape, or form like them, kind of thing. Like, their whole incentive structures and lives are so different. I mean, it's pretty clear, especially too, if you look at, you know, like Epstein and that cabal of people, that it's like, yeah, they don't live like you do in any way. These are some very sick people. So, you know what I mean? So some people will have personal incredulity when it comes to their favorite politician. Like, no, they couldn't be that. They couldn't do this bad thing. And they're like, I don't believe
That's a good example. That's a good example of personal incredulity. Yeah. I'm sorry. I was just also smiling reading some of the comments. Someone's like, Sally smells weird. Ignore her. GIF creation begins. Thanks, Space Ghost Supreme. That's so funny, your name. Space Ghost Supreme. That sounds like a really cool t-shirt design. And if you made it, I don't know. Maybe I might rock that. So Essential Libertarians ask, thanks so much for the super chat. What are your thoughts on Jan Hellfield and his dialogues? Anarchy Rothbard flavor. Oh, is he like an ice cream and he's Anarchy Rothbard flavor? I'm just kidding. So I don't know who Jan Hellfield is. Do you?
Good. Talk to the expert. Who is Jan Hellfield? So, essentially,
okay, you meant to change to you,
know, right? Who is the
I'm like,
expert? Me. So he's basically this guy who does a bunch of interviews with people and politicians and stuff like that, and he he basically will use Socratic method with high level people. Like, he like talks to all, like real politicians who are elected in office. Like he's able to get these crazy interviews with these people, and he grills them from a voluntary perspective. Like he gets.
Now I'm gonna look him up.
Yeah, they're really good. They're top.
So he's speaking truth to power.
And this is a guy. Yeah, he's been doing this for a long time.
To help them get there.
I think he may even been doing it since like the 90s. Like actually doing like interviews in the 90s, like Stossel era level.
Wow.
So he has this really good one with, I think it's a senator from Hawaii. I got to look it up because it's an older one. I just forgot the name. It's not Inho, I don't think. But he gets this senator to basically, use a word salad to say that he has the authority to take, people's, stuff with taxation because, they delegated to me. And he's like, well, but if we don't have the power to do this, how did we delegate it to you? And he has to go through a bunch of mental gymnastics because he's screwed. Like, he sits there and basically sticks his foot in his mouth because he's admitting like, oh, okay, so you as an individual don't have the power to tax. You can't take from people, but I can now magically, So he does stuff like that. It's really incredible. In fact,
cool.
I would even pull up. Let me see here.
Yeah, can we pull up one example?
I might actually
respond to.
Respond to?
I don't know though.
Respond
Victimless crime.
I might be able to.
Also, Jan Helfeld. Oh, without a I. So it's F-E-L-D.
Yeah.
Right? Jan Helfeld. H-E-L-F-E-L-D. Cool.
Uh-huh.
So we're just looking up he has some examples here.
He's like, I could show here.
It says someone called him a professional congressional debunker.
Right. Like he goes, like you can see him. He's got Bernie Sanders.
Oh, Nancy Pelosi. Let's do Bernie Sanders.
Harry Reid. I mean, he really.
Bernie Sanders went to school with
it is. Oh, it is Inouye.
Block.
It actually is. Sorry, I was right.
Who?
It is Inouye. So I thought it wasn't. But this is to me like one of the best ones. So let's see if we can.
Oh yes. His voice got higher so bad. Oh, someone said muted, no sound. Oh yeah, so no one could hear the video. Oh, sorry guys for 1 minute. Well, thanks for letting us know. Someone said they're in the mood for pho thai.
Oh, I see.
I'm definitely in the mood for pho thai.
Well, that's the
I'm like always in the mood for pho thai.
I think I just had my settings here that set to the
Thank
wrong.
Thank my mother and father for
that.
We're just checking the settings.
Well, I won't play it again. I'm just gonna let.
We can summarize.
You can see it. It just go watch it.
Or
later.
You can also look it up too.
Yeah, no, I'm just telling people to look it up. So just look it on up. Jan Helfeld. That's a great video.
Basically, he gets him to admit that he would find it wrong for individuals to initiate aggression against others and take their property. And then he was asking him, but do you think it's correct if a majority votes someone in and someone in government does it? And that's when he was just like, well, if they have the authority to do so, yes. And it's legal, yes. So it's kind of like just going in circles is what's going on for him in his reasoning. And he can't actually have an argument for why that is ethical. So cool. Well, hopefully you guys can still hear us.
Yeah, hopefully it still works. Okay, so we just did a couple of fallacies. Yeah. There's something else to look at.
Sorry, that would have been great. Cool. Yeah, let's look at some other. Are you done governing logical fallacies?
Yeah. Okay. So that was an introduction, so people can check out more later. We'll tell them where to go. But
yeah, it's a good website. So it was just yourlogicalfallacy.is, and you can check out this as well.
So what's cognitive biases?
So cognitive biases, also made by the same company, this website here. So cognitive biases make our judgments irrational. We have evolved to use shortcuts in our thinking, which are often useful, but a cognitive bias means there's a kind of misfiring going on, causing us to lose objectivity. This website has been designed to help you identify some of the most common biases stuffing up your thinking potential. So yeah, let's read some of these here. Halo effect was good. Anchoring. That's okay. Yeah, that's a good one. So anchoring is when the first thing you judge influences your judgment of all that follows. So is that kind of like your first impression? Kind of just is right. It's like a bias that you have that your first impression colors everything about that person.
Right.
So, okay, cool. Human minds are associative in nature. So the order in which we receive information helps determine the course of our judgments and perceptions. For instance, the first price offered for a used car sets an anchor price, which will influence how reasonable or unreasonable a counter offer might seem. Even if we feel like an initial price is far too high, it can make a slightly less than reasonable offer seem entirely reasonable in contrast to the anchor price, which is actually, this relates to like a tactic in negotiations for things. Because like if you give an offer that may be like way out of bounds for that other person, well, it may seem like something that, prior to that, you mentioning that even higher price or amount or whatever it is, like it may actually seem now less, unreasonable. So it's just interesting how you can, how that's used, that common bias. So, sorry, can I read the end there? The bottom and the back one. Okay, so be especially mindful of this bias during financial negotiations, such as houses, cars, and salaries. The initial price offered has proven to have a significant effect. So, yeah, just notice if someone's doing that to you or use that to your advantage. All right, the sunk cost fallacy. You irrationally cling to things that have already cost you something. Well, this is really common, right? Like you spend money or time or something, or you feel strong about something, and it's just hard to let it go, even when you discover that it's, not the right thing for you, or this person's irrational or whatever. So it reads, when we've invested our time, money, or emotion in something, it hurts us to let it go. This aversion to pain can distort our better judgment and cause us to make unwise investments. A sunk cost means that we can't recover it, so it's rational to disregard the cost when evaluating. For instance, if you spent money on a meal but you only feel like eating half of it, it's irrational to continue to stuff your face just because you've already paid for it, especially considering the fact that you're wasting actual time doing so, and also maybe like overeating, expanding your stomach, causing yourself to feel sick, and maybe, costing more money in the long term with health effects if you do that enough, like overeating. So to regain objectivity, ask yourself, have I not eaten enough? I'm just kidding. It says, had I not already invested something, would I still do so now? What would I counsel a friend to do if they're in the same situation? That's a good one. That's good. Yeah, so these are just great ways to be like, oh, why am I doing this? This is causing me pain. Oh, could it be because I have a sunk cost bias here? And then if you can acknowledge that, that knowledge, then actually all these cognitive biases is more about, and also logical fallacies, but I would say more so the cognitive biases are more related to having knowledge about yourself and how you think, because where depending on like what cognitive bias it is and what's going on, it may be rooted in something in your history, right? Or something related to your own experiences that you may not have processed. So fascinating. All right, let's see what else we want to go. Jack wants to share here. Okay, the availability heuristic. Your judgments are influenced by what springs most easily to mind. So how recent, emotionally powerful, or unusual your memories are can make them seem more relevant. This in turn can cause you to apply them too readily. For instance, when we see news reports about homicides, child abductions, and other terrible crimes, it can make us believe that these events are much more common and threatening to us than is actually the case. I mean, we went through that with all the COVID lockdowns, shutdowns from 2020 to, for some people into 2023. But
well, and I would say the
media cycles, with like it's very intentional.
Gun control, whenever people see lots of news stories and they see like, oh, there's a mass shooter or something like that, people start to be like, oh, that's normal, they're happening everywhere.
Yeah, they make conclusions, right? They start to make conclusions like, oh my gosh, we needed the government to come in. It's a crisis here. We have a gun crisis in America, because they turn on the TV and because it's whatever, May, the bloody month of May, they need to like show a bunch of horrible, shootings or whatever, like, and then people watch it. And then if they don't have long-term thinking and, a contemplation that they might have a bias like this, they may immediately act and react to seeing all of those, horrible videos and images of people suffering and dying and being murdered. So,
well, right. Yeah. That's what the news does, is that normally you think of news as being something unusual, right? If something's newsworthy, it's like, oh, okay, it's something that's unusual, right? The news isn't, hey, this is the most common thing that people are doing. Oh, look, this person's just pooping, this person's eating, right? So, people have a reverse psychology with it, though, where the news propagandizes with it and uses that rarity to make it seem like it's happening all the time, and that's often used for political control and trying to manipulate people into making them believe something's more common than it really is, especially on the scope of being as big as America is, 330, nearing 40 million people. They try to make it seem like as if, oh my gosh, every time you go out you're going to get shot by somebody who whatever. So yeah, it's almost like the news is trying to, the corporate media at least is trying to say like, hey, this is what you should be believing right now. This is what you should care about right now. This is the problems that you should be focused on, the people you should be focused on the most right now. And it seems like there's like people who are just in that state of reaction from day to day. They're just reacting and they're trying to get their needs met. They don't know how to get their needs met. And they're really not thinking long term or even analyzing the past to understand themselves. So they're just fed whatever, content is there in the media for them to consume. And then they get all wrapped up in it. And then they're no longer doing anything like advancing their life, advancing their skills, growing their relationships, connecting and getting closer to their existing relationships. So yeah. One more.
That's what we're trying to get people to get out of. And this is one of the ways, is just like analyzing what are those common errors in thinking that can happen. Or, what are possible errors? And then in general, just adopting a mindset of recognizing that, hey, it's okay if I'm wrong. It's possible that I'm wrong. Human mind is prone to error. It's normal. It's common. And the question is, how do you figure out and take a step back and determine what the truth is? But you don't get there unless you are open to being wrong and open to actually exploring what it is. So, all right, let's cover another bias here. So this is in-group bias. You unfairly favor those who belong to your group. Yeah, that's pretty common, especially if you went through like the public school system. It's like a really common one you see.
Gang.
Right? Yeah, like whatever your group says, then you all suddenly start dressing the same or arguing for the same things, and maybe you don't want to be outcasted, so you're going to just pick up their same ideologies of most people. So, all right, we presume that we're fair and impartial. Who's we? No, okay. But the truth is that we automatically favor those who are most like us or belong to our groups. This blind tribalism has evolved to strengthen social cohesion. However, in a modern and multicultural world, it can have the opposite effect. Try to imagine yourself in the position of those in-out groups, while also attempting to be dispassionate when judging those who belong to your in-groups. Okay, cool. Yeah, that makes sense. So it's just like trying to, imagine that whoever you're talking to is somebody else if you want to just see whether you're unfairly favoring them.
Right. Just that you might be like, oh, they wouldn't do that. Like that's my particular, friend or clique, whatever like that. And, for others, you're more basically discriminating or more, just be like, oh yeah, they're not with us, so that they must be wrong automatically kind of thing.
Right.
So that's just kind of a nice little sampling there of
it's a fun fun websites to go through and just kind of look through and think about your own life, your own times you may have committed logical fallacies or, had a cognitive bias going on, or people you knew, especially in matters of conflict.
And with that, the websites we just checked out, your bias is a great one. And I think before it was your logical fallacy is. Those are great starts for checking this up. But we also recommend highly.
I have both of those posters, by the way. You do
have both of those posters in your room.
Yeah, I've had them for like 8 years now. Still up. Still go over to look. Yeah, they're really big. They're like half my body size.
Yeah, they're like 3 feet.
Yeah, they're huge. Right, more than half my body size. 3 fists. All right, so
I was just gonna say really quick.
Yeah.
The Tuttle Twins actually has their own books on these topics. They have the Tuttle Twins Guide to Logical Fallacies. They also have the Tuttle Twins Guide to Beware Your Bias. So these are great books to have, especially if you want yourself to kind of get a sense of these principles and these ideas. And they're also really good for young people too. They're teen oriented, but I think teen to adult can read them. But they're, when you get these books, you're at least supporting Liberty.
What kind of reading
company,
level would you say? Like
we have them
5th grade, 6th grade, or?
I don't like to think about it in grades, but I think that it's something that, anyone who, is a decent reader, 12 plus could read, no problem. And I think they're just excellent books overall to have. They're great, for both, even for adults. Again, it's a good book to have if you want to like freshen up on logical fallacies. And we have links to that in the description below. Obviously, supporting people who love liberty is much better than supporting the neoliberal or maybe just regular liberals over at Your Fallacy Is, which they have some good stuff there, but you can tell from how they frame stuff, they're like very, clearly very status leaning, even though they have some good stuff. So definitely check out Tuttle Twins, because they have great resources here. And something else that is going to be coming up real quick.
Yes, Freeze.
Oh,
funny memes. Phony memes.
Yeah,
that's
actually like funny, like because you say "fa," and then "ni," funny. So it's actually just funny. Still.
Okay.
Or if you have like a really strong Vietnamese accent, then it'd be like funny. But I don't.
That you don't. All right, but before we get to the funny memes, we have some people.
Yes, we drink this coffee every day, and like I never grounded my own beans before, and now that I have, I'm like I'm not going back to like pre-ground. So I really like Custom Joe Roasting, because like when you order, that's when they roast it. And we met him and his wife. He's really awesome. And looks like this code is still good, even though it's 2023, folks. That's right.
It may or may not work, but either way, just get the coffee.
If it doesn't, let me know. And if and if you really need that 10%, like send me an email at thephilosopher@gmail.com. That's how to spell The Philosopher. Okay. So cjroasting.com. It's organic coffee. And we got their Asian pack. So we haven't tried all the different flavors yet. But we've gone through our first 2 pack of beans that I grounded myself. And on our previous live stream, not like the most previous, maybe like 2 or 3 ago, we actually ground them live. Like I held up the grinder and I grounded all the beans, and then I made some coffee. It was really good.
It is good. Actually, I like it. I've been drinking every day.
Organic milk creamer. Oh, so good.
It's nice when we have people that are nice enough to sponsor the show and our stuff, who make good stuff, right?
Yeah.
Because I don't want crappy products. So at least this is like we personally have tested the coffee and we're like, okay, it's good.
Yeah.
So I can stand behind it. I have drank this now for many weeks.
Yeah, so thank you, Custom Joe Roasting, for being one of my producers on Patreon. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your monthly support. And yeah, check out that coffee. Keeps us going every day. Gives us that, that little burst of energy that just like, I can be productive. All right. Beto de Strafa, you're awesome. Thank you for being here all this time. Really appreciate you being a producer on this show. This show over here, helping to make all the funny memes and music possible. Crawford K. McDonald, thank you so much as well for your support. So many years we go back now, and congrats on your new baby. That's awesome.
Yeah, so many babies. So many babies.
All the millennials who didn't have kids in their 20s, they're now having kids because they're all 30 in their 30s.
Yeah, it's time for baby.
So I'm just like, see it, I'll like turn here, right? Oh my gosh, this friend who's now like 30 something. Whoa, they got kids now. Everyone's having kids. And soon it won't just be Jack and I here. Maybe you'll hear a where in the background. And hopefully our child doesn't sound like what I just said. Where? That'd be weird. Like, that'd be a weird one. But yeah, so Jack wants me to read this behind bars moto tour. I screenshot the books.
Oh, just because I post something doesn't mean I want you to read it, but in this case, you can read it.
Okay. You put it up.
So that's I just put it up for fun, because if I like something, maybe I'll put it up.
Well, then I like to read.
But I like this one.
All right. Well, so he screenshots the books and sent them to your parents. Side note, friends are loving the Texas of coffee.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. That's awesome.
Hell yeah.
Sweet. Thank you.
Hell yeah.
I've never been motorcycling. Ever since I tried a dirt bike once, and
you dirt biked?
No, dirt biked.
Oh,
sorry. English is my third language.
Yeah.
Sometimes I mess up on some words.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, cool. Let's go.
Yes, freeze.
All right. Yes, freeze. Is that the first meme? Yes, freeze. You've been seeing the memes.
That's just the first.
I've been giving you phony memes. All right. I mean, funny. Okay. When you're built for feed, not speed.
That is a fat little horse.
It's so small.
Yeah.
Gosh. This is terrible. No one. Instagram models. Why is the dog?
That dog is like got cake.
This is how people become furries.
We gotta appeal
it's content like this
to the two furries who are here. If you're a furry, let us know in the comments.
What was that thing about like see no evil, hear no? Okay. And there was in my notifications, you have violated community standards for me that was posted 4 years ago.
And there was in my notifications, you violated community standards for me that was posted 4 years ago.
That's good.
I can't do it the deep. I can't do it deep.
Oh, Peter.
Hey, Lois.
Yeah, Lois.
And there it was in my notifications. You have violated community standards.
We're just trying to do the voice.
For a meme that was posted 4 years ago.
Okay, where's Seth MacFarlane when you need him to do Peter Griffin? All right. I like accents. Okay, you were homeschooled? That's unfortunate. Homeschoolers don't know how to talk to strangers. And yet here we are.
I think it's interesting that like his talk bubble is not to his mouth, but to his head.
He's thinking.
Dang it.
That's so funny. Who made this? Oh, at homeschooling with homeschooling. Oh, you left the toilet seat up. Oh, that's so funny, right? Your woman's like, hey, you left the toilet seat up. Stop. Meanwhile, she's just dumping all her makeup all over you. You sink. Well, I would say I don't do this, and I do say that to Jack. I'm like, you left the toilet seat up, but I'm very organized. Wouldn't you say, Jack?
You're organized, yeah. You're organized on a lot of things, and then I'm organized in the rest, basically.
I'm like, when is he gonna write his own obituary? Okay. When you forget to bring a towel to the shower with you, and you're a hippo.
You're
Is that a hippo?
That's a hippo.
Is that a baby hippo?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Babies, so cute. All right. When the deep state leaked your B-Day to the waitresses and they start clapping and walking towards you. you're at like, I don't know, the pho restaurant. And they're like, hi, happy. Okay. Anyway, great.
I don't
and you're
mind
Alex
that,
Jones in his lawsuit. Okay. They cheated the last election. Better vote them out this time.
I always think that's funny. How people are like, hey, yeah, there was a lot of fraud last time. Like, and like, but we got to vote harder. I'm like, okay, I don't think that's how that works.
I'm like, I'm pretty sure you don't take care of cheaters by playing by the rules that they literally break. I think you just take the cheaters out, right? You know what I mean? Like, you don't even allow them to keep playing. You're like, hey, they cheated.
Right. But there's no way to get them out because they cheated. So they're in. So they're good.
You have to prove they cheated.
Yeah. Well.
Tough. All right, Grandma. All people think about is sex these days. Also, Grandma has 20 kids. Oh,
so true. Basically,
jeez.
Here to make all the babies.
That's funny. My hands look like this, so hers can look like that. Card declined.
Honestly, I feel that.
That's so funny.
I need to buy something.
That's hilarious. But so is that just a poor guy who can't like get both?
I mean, I guess it must be where he's bought a lot and now it's declined.
He bought too much.
I'd want a Ruger 1022. with that, unscrewable front.
No, I don't.
Oh, I want that.
Do you want to show? You want to pull it up?
No.
Okay,
nah.
All right.
I'm just gonna get
the
jealous.
First ad for the Elon Musk versus Mark Zuckerberg fight just dropped. Okay, so which one's the reptilian?
Oh, come on.
That's funny. So Elon's Iron Man.
Obviously.
Hilarious. Well, he is kind of like Iron Man.
Know,
he's like asleep. Well, because he gets around. He literally slept with someone's wife. He's like, hey, I don't have a house. I'm going to sleep on your couch. And then he sleeps with the man's wife while he's at work.
That happened?
Yes.
That's not the Hulk?
No.
Oh, because the Hulk also did that. Hulk Hogan definitely did. Well, I mean, but
no, I'm talking about Elon Musk.
About that. Elon Musk slept with
Whereas
someone's
apparently
wife?
Mark had the same girlfriend, Chinese girlfriend,
really?
since Harvard days before Facebook.
Right.
Anyway.
True.
Funny. All right. Anywho, it's just coincidences. Okay, friends, let's get a table outside. Me. Oh, this is funny. I feel attacked because regularly we'll go somewhere and I'm like, it's such a nice day out. It's like 95 degrees. It's really hot. It's sunny. I want to sit in the sun. And then Jack's like, oh God.
Oh no, I'm okay. I'm fine with the sun. It's other people.
Oh, you.
Oh yeah.
You.
I'm great in the sun.
Wait, I've been here for 8. But I look at you and you're roasting. But I guess you enjoy it.
No, I enjoy it. I'm good. It's
That's
other people.
I'm glad you're a sun bug. That's great. Just got to get rid of your farmer's tan.
Yeah.
I try to tell him, like, would you take off your shirt? And he's like, no, I'm good. I'm like, it's okay. Me at my own funeral sharing one more meme before I go to hell. Wow.
Yeah, that's real.
That's funny. All right. Any Christians, Catholics out there? Please bring that meme to the next your next church service. See how many laughs you get. All right. Without my loving wife, I would have no clue of all the things I do wrong.
Ain't that the truth, huh?
He's like looking off in the distance.
You know it's true.
That's so funny. Well, and vice versa, right? Without my loving husband, I could just make the girl version of this, but then because I said without my loving husband, I wouldn't be aware of all the things I do wrong. All the women, not all the women, but a lot of like crazy women come out and be like, oh my gosh. Okay, whatever, anyway. But it's funny when you make fun of men. Men are like, that's allowable. You know what I mean? Like in America, it's allowable to say men are dumb, husbands are dumb. If you say like moms are dumb, wives are dumb, attack.
They'll get mad. They'll get big mad.
Yeah, my fellow women You know, it's all part of like keeping the patriarchy down. You know, it's you allow cross-dressing women men to get into power, and you think the patriarchy is ending when it's
only
still
begun.
there.
The patriarchy.
When it's only begun.
It's just beginning.
When the balls are in your face, but they're glittery, and they have mascara.
Has just begun.
It's still the patriarchy.
The patriarchy is here.
But with glitter. Okay, when you start to excel, people start to spreadsheet. Bro, you have a PowerPoint. Interesting outlook. Wow, that's funny. Does that go on?
Microsoft memes.
Can I add another one?
Yeah. What you got?
Cool project.
What cool project?
That's terrible. All right, what's yours? Do you have one right now?
Right now?
Right now.
Okay. Word.
Oh, that's so good. Why did I think
You could have just done one thing.
I could have just done word. All right, that's why Jack's
you could have also been like, oh, this visual's so basic.
And I have the talent. All right. So okay. That's punny. Funny memes. Oh, is that it?
Legacy. No.
That's it?
No. But I was just thinking about what else, like what other Microsoft Suite things are left now? Because there's what's out, like what isn't there another, there used to be something else besides it in the suite. There's like a little like
Access, that's
what it was.
Access. SharePoint.
Yeah.
Project. Okay. Visio. All right. She was my cantaloupe dog baby.
Your IQ is now 95.
I'm sorry. She was my melancholy
baby is right. Baby.
She was my melancholy baby.
Melancholy baby. I don't know, but I thought it was funny.
So is that a personal thing? You know someone who's melancholy?
I think it's a song. I don't know. I just thought it was hilarious.
Never look like an alcoholic again. Now you just look insane because that's a fake child.
And you're constantly sucking your baby. That's kind of weird.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah.
Okay, what are these? Like dance moves with fingers?
I think this is from Avatar. These are the finger moves.
Oh, these are the finger moves for Avatar?
Yeah.
That's funny.
And they create this.
Oh, they're the ones that brought it upon Naruto?
Yes.
Oh.
This is the formula.
Oh my gosh. So Avatar and Naruto are actually connected? Are there any like people who love Avatar and Naruto? Some people love Avatar The Last Airbender. John and Brandy. Okay.
You'll have to watch that later. See what it was.
Your mom showing you all the places you miss when she told you to clean the house. Here! And here! And here too! Oh no.
You know that feeling.
That's funny. Except for my mom was unique. She didn't tell me to clean the house because she was so OCD that she had to clean the house herself.
That's true.
So in fact, I would try to help her, and then she'd be like, "No, let me do it.
Don't talk loud.
You don't know how to clean. Let me."
Yeah.
No, I appreciate it.
You clean well now. You grew up well.
I love my mom. All right, 51 business insiders. Okay. Oh, Declaration of Memes. We met him, Liberty Campy, over there in Porkfest in the woods of New Hampshire.
We did.
Near the Canadians.
Their identity is safe with us.
And New Yorkers. 51% of Americans pay no federal income taxes. Whoa, we're halfway there. Yeah, that's Bon Jovi. Hey. That's cool. Who's that? Richard Nixon on the drums? Anyway, it looked like it. Them. You need to try this eco-friendly bug steak. Me. Isn't that Michelle from the house? Family House.
Family House. It was from that Family House show, right?
Sometimes I just like forget the name of something, so I'll come up with like a similar name, and like Jack has, you know, he's been here.
Yeah, I used to watch Full Matters.
Full House. House Matters. Full Family.
House Matters.
I used to watch Full Family.
Yeah.
All right, that's funny.
Full
I
Guy.
don't want your eco-friendly bug steak. Get out of here. I want some real steak. I mean, real steak. Okay, so you see, that's where the trouble began. Koreans on the rooftop ready. That smile, that damn smile.
I mean, that is a great smile.
This is so funny. I haven't
always
seen
saw
this template before. That's hilarious. That is a great smile. He's so happy. He's in the sun. He's like, I'm in Cali. I'm defending my store. It's so awesome. My family didn't move here just to have people take our property. That's right. We will defend. Because, you know, America is a culture to those who escape tyranny. And we're here to make American culture what it should be, about individual liberty. All right, so Vin Diesel says when your estimated time of arrival on Google Maps changes from 11:27 to 11:26. Oh my gosh. So Fast and Furious. Can we show that Vin Diesel meme where he's like, anyway.
That's from last time.
All right. Who built the roads before 1913? Who built the roads? That's funny. Basically, people. Okay. Finally got the food pyramid figured out. It's just meat.
Yeah.
Just a bunch of steak. You know, I will say I'm not a carnivore. I mean, what I love about the market is there's any kind of diet you want, you know, especially with the nature of how many people have different allergies and different sets of allergies. You know, you could be just allergic to eggs, just allergic to milk. You could be, you know, allergic to nuts, but everything else is fine. You may also just not like the taste of blood and not like the idea of eating animals and just want to avoid that and just eat plants. You know, but like that's the beauty of the market and respecting each other's rights as human beings is like we can actually trade and come together and help give each other and build a world where we have so many options to choose from. And like within a year, you could have like try 5 different diets and just only go to your local store and get the things you need. I mean, it's quite incredible. But for me, yes, I am just like, I would say I'm like 50% meat and like 50% salad,
50%
carbs.
rice.
I try to not do too many carbs now and just focus on like fruits, vegetables, and then like meat is the most filling thing for me. Like, you know, I could have, you know, this much sausage or meat or something, and it's so filling. As opposed to if you ate a salad, I could eat like 2 big bowls of salad and still be hungry, for example. So I just like vegetables because I like the taste. I grew up eating a lot of different vegetables and fruits in addition to a lot of different meats and seafood. So I just like it. But anyway, carnivores. All right. Eventually, they mentioned the childhood trauma that made them like that. Wait, I just don't get why is it like a short dog with 2 tiny of legs?
I don't know, but I like it.
His feet are too small. Like
he's got really
isn't
tiny.
that like not right? Like how can he walk? Is he just bred to be weak?
Yeah, he's
That's
bred
terrible.
to just trot around.
Oh, that's sad. All right, how a truck driver stares at you while you try to back up and park your little car.
So
That's
good.
Funny. That's true. Oh my gosh. When I was young, I thought this was the epitome of wealth and sophistication. Vignette.
Honestly,
I would eat Vienna sausages and just think they were like the most amazing thing.
as a kid.
You like Vienna sausages?
No, I'm just the Breyers ice cream thing here. When I saw those ads as a kid,
Breyers.
I was like, "Whoa!"
Oh, I missed that.
This is amazing.
I thought that was sausage.
It's not sausage.
Oh, whoops.
No, that is literally ice cream.
I'm changing ears because my left ear.
Okay. I saw that as a kid. I was like, oh, okay, this is like what rich people eat.
Dude, Breyers is delicious. Like if you're able to have milk, it's creamy deliciousness. It's so good.
So good.
All that milk fat, man. All right, Bruce Campbell, Groovy Bruce, send me a script. Petition to replace Amber Heard and Aquaman 2 with Bruce Campbell reaches 3 million.
I accept the terms. Yes. Bruce Campbell for all of Aquaman. He should also be Aquaman and Amber Heard.
That's weird.
Yes. Oh yeah.
It looks like George Clooney.
He does, but even handsomer.
Oh. When Pinocchio has been listing off conspiracy theories and his nose hasn't moved at all. That's so funny. Like, would you bring him to trial if he was like a real thing?
Yeah, I'd bring him to a lot of things.
He would be like famous. You imagine, like, I could never tell a lie. And like my nose grows when he lies.
Right.
Like,
I'd ask him like, okay, tell me what the is this gonna be the winning lottery number? And you just keep saying it.
Okay, what the heck is this? Choose your own adventure. Taking mushrooms and going to Walmart.
That sounds like the adventure.
So Imperial Guard. Hey, what's up? He never liked their ice cream much. Oh yeah. Oh, okay. Really? Yeah, that was so good. Maybe I'm just vanilla like that. But New York Times bestseller. Why is his eyes like far apart?
That's the point.
Gosh. It's just like, it's like otherwise such good art. It's like whoever drew that, man. It's like maybe the colorist was great. Okay. Bikers on their way to swerve through lanes at 180 miles per hour and blame cars for not paying more attention. Are these just drivers in Miami? You should replace bikers with drivers in Miami.
Yeah, right.
And they're sharks. It could still work. People do that, but you give them like a Hawaiian shirt instead. That's open, unbuttoned. It was always hot and moist down there in Miami. Okay. People in 2002 when unlimited minutes kicked in after 9 p.m. Oh, yeah.
That's right. Remember unlimited minutes?
Gosh, that's nostalgic. Look at those phones.
He's got multiple. He's got 3 phones. He's like,
and he has like those headphones. Those foam headphones.
Yeah.
Those basketball jerseys. Accidents in real life. Accidents in anime. Oh, whoops. Things that never happen. All right. When you're 2 blocks from your house and you begin to lose the battle. This is so much. Yikes. I don't think I needed to see that.
Yikes. You ever been close to losing the battle though?
This is what they want. This is literally the deep state agenda, releasing memes about booty holes. Okay. All right, I'm just kidding. All right. Is that the last meme? You're gonna end on that?
That's it. That's the last meme.
Gosh. So you're about to lose the battle, Jack?
I'm not. I'm great. I'm all
good.
I'm all set.
Well, that was fun. I really like talking about the different logical fallacies that can be had and cognitive biases and what the difference is between inductive and deductive reasoning is.
Yeah, I think
it's really fun. Yeah.
Definitely good stuff to check out. So anybody who's
a lot of good
stuff,
laughs, a lot of good
note through those things and sharpen your mind with it, right? Check out the fallacy and cognitive biases page. Check out those books by Tell Twins. They're cool. And links are down below too for those.
Yeah. And hope to see you at our event in September with Lou Perez. And that's on Eventbrite. So check that out. I think we put it in the description, a link to Eventbrite.
And also there's something coming up cool. We're about to shoot the Break the Great Reset music video. Oh, yes. That will be fun. So we have the same producer coming in from New York. The same producers right here. And the same videographer from New York is coming down. Yeah, the one that shot the Anti-State music video for us. Yeah, so we're going to be shooting that coming up real soon. It's going to be awesome. We got in the costume stuff. I've been doing like 50 burpees every day just to prepare. I'm like, I need to be strong. Because I don't want to go along with the Great Reset. And I'm going to do my very best to resist. So, so we're going to be doing that. And we have a recurring actor in my music videos coming back. And this time he's going to play a young Klaus Schwab. So that's going to be funny. Yeah, that'll be fun. And he's going to be eating bugs
and we got real bugs.
Well, we don't want to give away all the secrets here.
Okay. All right.
As much as you want to. We want to keep some things.
All right. Well, then that was just a little teaser that be on the lookout.
Just take that
within the next 2 or 3 months. You'll be seeing a music video for Break the Great Reset.
And it was crazy too, because like I was working on the costuming thing up to the last minute. We had it with our tailor who we normally work with, and he's done a bunch of other stuff with our music video stuff and other cosplay stuff. And he, kept getting back to me over like 6 weeks, and then finally we came in, we're like, hey, we really need this. He's like, oh, okay. And then he says he's gonna call us, and then he doesn't call us, and the next day he calls us finally. And then when we get it from him, he's like, oh, okay. He's like, by the way, I'm about to go to like Greece tomorrow. We're like, thanks. That's good to know. You know what I mean? So he was going to be gone for months. So if we didn't put that pressure on him, we wouldn't have had the costume done in time. But we got every last prop in needed up to the wire at the last second. So we're good. We got everything we need. But it's going to be a fun time.
Yeah, I'm excited. So it's going to be a fun little gang out there, and we're going to be playing Break the Great Reset in a crowd of people, like over and over for 7-8 hours just around. And so we're just going to be blasting Break the Great Reset and talk about central bank digital currencies and Klaus Schwab and Breaking the Great Reset. So it'll be fun to just see.
And we'll be giving updates too, like those who supported on the campaign. Obviously, we get the behind the scenes little teaser video thing,
building,
and then we'll also post maybe one public picture, something like that, maybe some behind the scenes stuff. I think too, you're gonna post to your Patreon subscribe star people. So
yeah, but we'll save like most of the video behind the scenes part, for the backers.
Right, the video part is specifically apart from the campaign, so the secret behind the scenes video thing will be sent, but maybe a couple pictures otherwise. And real quick too, do want to thank the Essential Libertarians for their support.
Thank you so much.
Thanks,
Kareem. I love your rainbow.
And thank you, so cool. Michael Adams, for your super chat. I'm not sure what the thing is, and maybe it's a sticker.
But a sticker, yeah. I could probably look at it. But...
Probably could.
Oh, cool. But, thank you so much.
Yeah. So we'll update you soon, but yeah, that's what's happening next. And then after that, I mean, it's kind of secret, but I don't mind telling you people here, you people watching, but we'll be popping into Yao real quick. So we're going to be going to we're not doing anything official with them or anything like that. We're not speaking or anything. We're going to pop by to say hi and hang out for a little bit with everybody. And so if you're going to Yao in Orlando, what date is that? I don't remember. August 13th,
if you're going to Yao's annual conference that they have.
Oh, August 12th. Sorry.
This will be their annual conference. So yeah, it's just August 12th. It's called Yao Rev. Yeah. Or you just look up Yao annual conference. You can get tickets if you actually want to go see what speakers they have. Like Scott Horton's going to be there, Spike Cohen, some other people. So, if you actually want to be there. I thought so.
Oh, I didn't know.
Okay, maybe I could be wrong, but I thought I read that.
Well,
verified. Just check out the website, verify. But point is, we're not going. We're just going Saturday night just to see some of our friends.
Wait, that's a contradiction. You said we're not going.
We're not going to the different events. We're not going to the events for the speakers. We're not going to the actual conference. We're going to the hotel where the conference is at.
Hey, there you go. So that's the nuance. We'll be by. Yeah. We're gonna hang out. We'll probably come by the field and stuff like that when they do that, some outside stuff and hang out with everybody kind of thing.
Yeah. I mean, we've been to the conference. We were there for the last couple of years. Yeah. And so we've been to the speaking events and we know what it's like. So again, if you want to go and see that, it's cool and it's fun to network there. But yeah, we'll just be coming to hang out Saturday night.
Yeah. All right. Well, take care, everybody. I'm excited to update you on what we're doing with Break the Great Reset. That's gonna be super cool. And then
and hope to see you at our event with Lou Perez in September. That'll be really fun. Let's go shooting, get some laughs in. It'll be fun.
Yeah.